Make sure my mic is on. Yeah, okay. Howdy, howlers. It's Sako to me, also known as Cass for Eight. I write horror, and I'm a witch, and I'm a graphic designer, and sometimes I combine these three things. This morning, I am reading through Weave the Liminal, and I have a special guest. We have the glorious Aphrodite Lee.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Can you hear me? Because my voice is shot.
Yes, we absolutely can.
Okay, good. My voice is bad and I look bad, so I'm sorry y'all can't see my face today.
It's all good. We're just, it's no expectations. It's all good.
All right, give me 1 second to try to find my headset.
Mm-hmm.
Trey, where's my headset? The baby had it. Can you get it for me? I don't see it. Homeschooling today.
Oh,
I had to sit over here.
Oh, jeez.
Thank you. I can punch you in your nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I threaten the children all the time. All right, can you still hear me?
Mm-hmm. You bet.
Wait a minute, I can't hear you.
Uh-oh. That seems to be a common problem.
My cord is broken.
Oh, no.
All right. I can hear you. Okay.
Okay, great. How are you doing this morning, Aphrodite?
This morning.
Yeah, that. Definitely that. Oh, my goodness. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do with my day.
I am going to finish my stuff that I was doing all week, which is getting my Patreon stuff in order because I don't want to fall behind. So I was scheduling a bunch of stuff and making sure that my obligations for different tiers are being done.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm going to be doing today and tomorrow. Then this weekend, I shall be resting.
That is wise.
I am worn out.
I bet. Yeah, doing the whole schooling at home thing. Like, mom is already a full-time job, and now you're also teacher. Wow.
And it was unexpectedly dropped into my lap because my daughter, her babysitter, just kind of zeroed out on her.
Oh no.
Yeah, so she didn't have any choice.
Oh, geez.
So I was like, nope, I got you. I taught for 40 years. I can teach again.
Yeah, I gotcha. All right. So the topic of today is the Witch's Manifesto.
Okay, cool.
Now this is written in first person, so these are not my views; these are her views.
Oh, you mean it's a book? You talking about the?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Because I thought you were talking about our personal manifestos.
I'm sure that will come up. Putting together your own manifesto. I actually meant to bring down my grimoire, which has my tenets in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can probably read the manifesto of the Chaos Witch group that I'm in.
You allowed to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Hi, Natalie. Oh, I haven't even said hi to people. Jesus Christ. Got my tea, dear. Hello, Aphrodite. I've had babysitters cancel last minute before. That sucks.
Yeah, and she's a nurse, so it's not like she could just not go to work.
Right? Hi, Ginny. Hi, Orla. So good to see you guys. And I know while I'm reading, more people will mill in.
Mm-hmm. I'm not familiar with this work. Who is it by?
This is called Weave the Liminal by Laura Tempest Zakroff. Living Modern Traditional Witchcraft. She seems to be a belly dancer.
That's what Danny does. Danny's a belly dancer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, she is no joke.
Hmm.
Um, when did that book come out?
Oh, good question. It's got to be relatively recent. Is there a date? God damn. It says 2020.
Okay.
Originally done in copyright in 2019.
So it's fairly new.
Oh, I guess it doesn't want me to. Oh, except in the case of brief quotations embodied in critical articles and reviews. Okay, so that's technically what we're doing. I just can't like rewrite it and not say anything.
Oh yeah.
Which explains, but like reading it.
You're not really ever allowed to like use somebody's stuff if you're gonna make money off of it.
Apparently, it doesn't even matter if you're gonna make money off of it. They're just like, nope. Just
There are always some people who are just like, I don't care, don't you like Anne Rice. Anne Rice don't play. She's like, do not touch my stuff, period. Not even for fun. Like she doesn't like fan fiction of her stuff. And fan fiction is, I mean, everybody and anybody could just say, oh, I'm gonna fantasize about me and Lestat getting together. Nope. She don't, if she sees it, she goes after you.
That really sucks.
And see, but the thing with that, like, I think that's extreme, but she has the right to feel how she wants to feel. I just wouldn't touch her stuff. If she felt that bad, I'd be like, you know what, you're right. It's 18 billion other books out there. I'll just go do that. I'm not
considering her involvement
on my part for her stuff.
Yeah, right. Considering her involvement in the movies based on her books, she started out gung ho, and then the studio was like, "We're gonna do this," and she was like, "Wait, no, you can't do that." And they're like, "Well, we're doing it with or without you." And she was like, "Well, then you're doing it without me."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she was, and she washed her hands of it, which I don't blame her on that. Like they
went blame her either.
In a different direction than what they said, number one, and what she wished, number two. And like you can't promise somebody that you're gonna do X, Y, Z of their art, and then don't.
And then don't. Yeah.
I was a little bit proud of her for speaking up about it, but I was also like, it was one of those things where she couldn't do anything about it. So that is why I will never give the rights of my stuff up. I will have to, fortunately, use J.K. Rowling as an example. I will have to be creative consultant on my stuff. So when you decide that you want to throw in a ball that wasn't in the book, I can say yes, go ahead, no, don't do it. And she didn't do that. And I mean, back in the day, she probably didn't even know to do that because she figured they would respect what they said they were gonna do.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Let's see where we're at. I struggled a bit with the title for this section. Is manifesto the word needed? What do you call a collection of goals and aspirations for a personal path with the hope that it will influence and guide the larger culture? Who am I to issue a list of commandments or rules? That's not my intention. I must confess that I have tended to connect manifestos with fervent young adults passing out their Xeroxed visions in goth clubs. But manifest is right there in the word, to make something known, to give it form, to bring it into being. I look at the churning, bubbling cauldron that the world is right now with quite a mixture of thoughts and feelings. I can't shake the feeling that we're on the verge of a massive breakdown and cultural collapse. Well, here we are. But I also feel there are immense possibilities in store for a new epoch of emergence with greater understanding, compassion, and luminous vision. I have great hope, but at the same time, humanity's been at this game for centuries. We have done worse and we've done better. A fresh start doesn't guarantee success. Oh, hey, Ava and pronouns. So good to see you guys.
Eva's here. Hey, Eva. Hey, everybody. I don't know who's here.
Yeah, it's my loyal group, my tribe.
Eva knows how much I adore her.
Yes, Eva is quite adorable.
Later on, I may try to go onto YouTube. Like, my computer doesn't like to do the same thing. I mean, two things at a time.
Yeah,
So I don't want to get booted, but I might go on so I can see everybody and talk to everybody.
yeah, I got you.
Like, it took me a few minutes to even get into here today because my computer's like, you have Facebook up. Make a choice.
Oh, and Facebook is a bit of a memory hog anyway.
Mhm. So how do you feel about her first words about her defining manifesto?
I think of like conquering Europe. The
She's like manifest destiny.
manifest destiny, yeah. And coming up with the goals of which and how the battle plan on how to do that would be the manifesto. But I have my own rules that I live by. I wish I had them in front of me. It's stuff like don't weaponize karma, no mind control spells like love or death.
I mean, my denominate common factor will always be harm none, and including myself, because people forget that harm none means none.
Exactly.
Not just everybody outside of you, but you as well.
Yeah.
And I really do. I'm not saying I've never harmed anybody, but I've never intentionally harmed anybody. And I'm really proud to be able to say that. A lot of people can't.
Yeah.
And but I definitely, for the first half of my life, never considered myself as part of the none. So I act really consciously when I do stuff.
Me too.
Always with purpose and always with conscience. Because again, you can't say what won't hurt somebody, but you do have the power to make a decision to always try not to.
Yeah.
And if you do hurt, be willing to own it and apologize.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you gotta be truthful enough to yourself to own it and apologize.
Like it would really let's say that me and you were talking and I said something totally not even realizing that it hurt your feelings.
Sure.
And you didn't say anything, and then because you had to digest it, and you think, well, Aphrodite doesn't operate that way. She wasn't trying to, but I still need to tell her that when she said she didn't like purple, that bugged me. So you hit me up and you say, hey, girl, I just want to talk about last Monday we were talking, and you hurt my feelings when you said XYZ. That would break my damn heart.
Yeah.
So because my goal has always been never to hurt, I would be so glad that you said something to me.
Right.
But I'll be more hurt than you probably were by the comment.
Yeah.
But I heard you, and I wouldn't want to do that. There are people who I cannot stand, and I still wouldn't want to hurt them.
Right. I would never wish harm on someone.
Right. I wouldn't want to be a part of their hurt. So I would 100% apologize. I'm like, girl, I was not trying to, under no circumstances whatsoever was I trying to.
Yeah.
So please forgive me, and I will work on me.
I just went through something very similar recently with Cachet Warren. Yeah, I basically accused her of stuff that others had come to me about.
Mm.
And they weren't my stories to tell, so I couldn't, like,
Never carry a bone. Never, like, if a dog brings you the bone, let the dog take it away.
let the dog
If
take
it did not, if and I don't know what you're talking about, and I'm kind of glad I don't. If Cache did something with you personally, then
Mhm.
you're right. It's your story to tell.
Right.
Someone else is saying something to you. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, and I know this is gonna sound weird. I don't listen to people say bad mouthing other people.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I mean, they could be telling the truth, but I don't put my energies there
Sure.
because it serves nothing good to do
Right.
that.
I
It
think part of
really
it
doesn't.
was I think part of it was that one of my friends basically it boiled down to the blind mage, really. And the blind mage and I have never really interacted. And she apparently doesn't like people speaking kindly of me.
I have no idea what you're talking about. What? How is that true?
She blocked everyone who came into Cachet's chat that brought me up. Like, oh, I've had a bad experience in the witch community. Oh, well, if you've had a bad experience, you should totally look up Sako Tumi because she's a very positive influence on the community. And she's like, oh, don't even bring that bitch up, and blocked my friend. And I was like, okay.
Oh,
So if
well,
there,
don't even give it energy because
I was wrong
there's no
to give it
beauty.
energy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no beauty in that, and it's too many of us to. I don't know how to say it right. There's going to be good people and bad people. Up people, down people, blah blah blah. Even the good people have bad days, that kind of thing.
sure,
But and you can't escape that. But what you can do is not feed it. You know the story about the two wolves,
sure.
right? And it's like, you have the good wolf and the bad wolf, and which one is the strongest. But the
Mm-hmm.
one is the one that you feed
The
is the
one that you feed.
strongest.
Yeah.
So that's why, believe me, I'm not like a goody two shoes. I try, and that's the difference. I try. I
I
get
do try.
mad. I get mad. You don't want to be on the side of me when I'm mad, it's so hard to get me there.
Me too.
It's so hard to get me there,
Mm-hmm.
and even in some of the worst situations, it's so corny for me to say this. I really do look for like what's the good reason for this? Like I've
Mm-hmm.
been in really bad situations. Oh, we would be here all day. Um, I'm just trying to think of something that's like more recent. Okay, I'll give you one. I recently moved, as you guys may know, and I've
Oh.
been in this apartment now for 2 months. And I wanted to move. I was so looking forward to moving. Now the apartment that I left was
Mm-hmm.
amazing. I had everything I wanted. It was gorgeous. On top of it, I had 2 bedrooms, so the other one was my studio because I live alone. Blah blah blah. But the location was not. And because I live alone and because it's getting harder and harder on me to do stuff on my own,
Mm-hmm.
I needed to be somewhere where I could, had a little bit more of not having to depend on other humans. So I contacted this complex, the one I'm in now,
Mm-hmm.
to get, to look for apartments, blah blah blah. And the manager, she was just so amazing, and she's like, "Oh, I got you, Miss Lee. We can do blah blah blah." And she found me. It's a 1 bedroom apartment, but she found like the bomb ass apartment.
Nice.
So I'm ready to move. I turned in my deposit on a Monday. But it just so happened that during that weekend, someone electronically paid and put a deposit down on the apartment.
Ah.
So I come strolling in, Tuesday to find out more stuff, and the woman, no, I called her. I forgot because that's when the pandemic hit. I
Mm.
called her and she's like, "I'm so sorry, Miss Lee," and she's telling me that the apartment was gone. I'm like, "How can it be gone? Like I came in on Monday and turned the money in," and then she told me what happened.
Mm.
And so after I cried and cried and cried, I was like, "The gods don't want you in that apartment." So let's stop there. It's
Yes.
sad. It's heartbreaking. They don't want you there. So she said, "No, I got you. I got another one. It's bigger because I didn't care about the size of it. I cared about the layout because I'm very blind and there's certain things I have to do."
Oh.
So she's like, "I got you another one. Oh, it's so beautiful." And I was like, "Okay, can we switch the deposit to that?" She's like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, what's the difference in the rent?" She's like, "Oh, no, I'm giving it to you for the same rent." I'm like, "Oh, okay, thank you so much." And she said the woman is moving out. Right now she's living with her daughter because she's older too. And she's like, she's been living with her daughter for like 4 months. She just doesn't want to stay there anymore. And so I was like, okay, it works out perfectly. The timing for me to move. And sadly, her son passed away.
Oh no.
Most likely coronavirus.
Oh.
Right. And he was like, like my son's age, like in his 30s. So he's young. So her son passed away. So now she doesn't want to move. She doesn't want to put any stress on herself because of what she's going through. Duh, right? Makes sense. So this poor woman, she has to call me and like, that apartment is not available. And so she's like, I'm gonna find you something. And she found me this apartment. Okay, stay with me. But I knew something was wrong because
Oh.
because she wasn't doing the whole, "Oh, Miss Lee is so beautiful. Oh, Miss
Oh.
Lee has got this. Oh, Miss Lee has got that." And I was now in a situation where I had no choice but to move because I'd already put my notice in, blah, blah, blah. So it's not like I can change my mind or wait. So I get here, I get my son. He comes, he brings me over to go look at the apartment, the new one. And I just broke down when I walked in.
Oh.
It's such a big, there's nothing wrong with this apartment, but it's such a big letdown and difference from the ones that I saw.
Oh, sure.
And it's micro. When I say it's a little apartment, it is a little. And so I just cried, and my son is like, "Come on, you know how you do. You know you'll make this work. You know you've everywhere we've gone, you've always been amazing. Please stop crying."
Yeah.
He's like, "I'll buy you a television or something. Please stop crying." So, long story short, I'm sorry, it is a long story. This is the best unit in the building. The best unit in the building. I am perfectly central in the middle of this bad boy. I got great neighbors on both sides of me.
Nice.
Now the apartment is still micro, and I'm
Yeah.
still working on some stuff, but it is the best apartment in the building.
Nice.
So I'm so happy in here. And I'm sure I would have been happier in the other two too, don't get me wrong. But it was so many pushes. I just wasn't meant to be in those places. And I had to remind myself, it you have to look for the silver lining in this.
Yeah.
And the silver lining was where this apartment is located in the whole complex is perfect for me. I literally got my back door and then go into the Walgreens where all of my prescriptions always are.
That's great.
I mean, it is perfect. Like the post office. If I go out my back door, the post office is across the street. All the shopping. I literally live in a shopping center. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Nice.
And I don't know how to explain that without sounding goofy. But I would have never wanted to be in this apartment. If I would have seen this apartment, I'd have turned it down. But the gods saw different. It's like, you need to be right there, girlfriend. And it's perfect. Oh my goodness, I love it. So I do try to do that. Even though I get disappointed like anybody else would, I try not to dwell in the parts of it that's not working.
Absolutely.
And look at like this woman was running in circles trying to help me.
Mm-hmm.
People don't always get that. She didn't have, I mean, she's always going to rent. She don't have to worry about me particularly. You know, my son, he's always looking out. He's going to make sure that I'm comfortable here. So I had to think about those things as opposed to my disappointment, which is still there, but I didn't give it energy.
Yeah. It's not worth it.
It really isn't. Like, all you do is make yourself sick.
Yeah.
That's all you do.
So, Ginny here, one of my tenets is to harm none but take no shit, which is a careful balance.
Oh yeah, you take absolutely no shit. Put that absolutely in caps. Don't fuck with me.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be a very, very dire mistake on your part.
Yeah, that'd be a bad idea. Same here.
I'm sorry, hold on. My grandson went me. What? Oh wait, okay. Okay, he heard me cuss. So I have to pay because I cuss.
Oh,
and he keeps tabs because he knows that's Five Below store stuff for him. You better leave me alone. It don't count if I'm talking on the computer. Oh no, he said it all counts because ain't no stipulations.
Ain't no stipulations. That's funny.
I'm allowed to say damn and get away with it because it's like my other word. I say that more than my damn name. So they can't. They be rich if we were using that one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I talk so much. I apologize.
No, you're my guest. Don't call me one. It's great. So Eva has a story of basically very similar. When they were home shopping, she'd been looking for years before they were ready. We had a set location range. We ended up outside of it. The universe kept saying no.
Mm-hmm.
And then the house we ended up in was dropped by a substantial amount. And though outside our desired location, still in a great one and much larger than we thought we'd be able to get. So our house loves us. You'll make it amazing. The apartment I loved the most, that we lived in for the longest of any in our lives, had the most issues with the neighbors. We loved the space, but as soon as we moved, the dark years ended. No lie.
And it's true. It's so true. I mean, what is the old cliche? Location.
Yeah.
It makes a difference me being here. This place is half the size of the place I left. If that, it may even be smaller. My kitchen is so small, I don't even call it a kitchen, it's a kitchen. And it so perfectly works out for me. Like, it's so perfect. Excuse me, guys. My voice is shot. So yeah, and I was on my knees crying, disappointed.
Oh.
So don't think I'm like, oh, rainbows and hearts. I was devastated, but I had to let it go and look for what was good about it.
Mm-hmm. Silver linings, always with the silver linings. Mm-hmm. I live in a world of silver linings.
That's cool. I might actually write a book called Silver Linings.
Yeah, right on.
It's been like I've always had to look for them because I've had it so rough, and I know there are people who had it tougher, and there are people who had it easier, and they don't get dismissed just because they had it easier. And
I do not trivialize other people's.
Oh no, because if you had it easier, if you don't have one great thing about my life is I had amazing parents. Everybody cannot say that.
Not everybody can say that.
My parents were absolutely, I was raised by, you need me? Okay. I was raised by a very Jewish mama and a Muslim dad.
Nice.
And what was cool about them, because, they didn't get along all the time as far as religions go, but it was like, y'all have more in common than you don't. I mean, I need y'all to chill with that. But what was coolest about that, they didn't decide that we had us kids had to follow them. They said we will grow into our path to God. And we were taught their stuff. Like, that's how I have the name Aphrodite. And that's how I have an Arabic name too. that I can't pronounce correctly.
Oh, really?
I'll look it back up to the right pronunciation, but basically it means pure. Kayere, Kayere, Kayere. I don't remember how to say it, but I'll look it up. And so, but I always joke like my Jewish name is Greek.
That's funny.
But so we learned, like, we learned the ways. But me and my brother, my younger brother, we went to Catholic school. And so, because my mom couldn't afford Jewish school, we went to Catholic school, come home to a Jewish home. And my dad, who did not live with us, which I didn't even realize it for a long time. That's how much he was around. Then we would learn everything from him. And they still said, you'll find your own path. You'll find your own path. You'll find your own path. And when people would say, well, geez, with all this stuff, because my stepmother was Jehovah's Witness.
Wow.
Right. And so they was like, well, what are you? I used to say confused.
Yeah.
But I really wasn't. I wasn't confused. Because
you just weren't anything that was around you. Yeah.
Right. I was lucky in the schools that I went to, because Catholic school can be a bit much.
Yeah.
As far as religion goes. But I was really lucky because the schools that I went to, they taught Catholicism hardcore, but they taught us world religion as well. And they always ended with, okay, well, this is Buddhism, but Catholicism is right. But they still taught it. Don't get me wrong. They still taught it. So I was like, well, wait, this is pretty awesome. And I don't know what I am, but not any of these. And so I think, you want to know my coming out of the broom closet story?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this is going to sound so like it's in the movies, but this is what happened to me. And I was probably closer to 15, but I might have been a little bit younger. I lived in the library, and I mean it. Like, I wouldn't even go home until the library closed sometimes. And this library was like 6 stories high. Each floor was a department. That's how big it was. And I would always find myself like in humanities or in this or in that and the other thing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. In this one, but no matter what I did, no matter if I was doing fiction reading that particular day, I still brought whatever books I collected to the 5th floor in this one room. That was my thing. So one day, and not like years, I want you to understand, I've been doing this for years. And one day I'm in there and I go to my usual table, and the row of books behind me were all like witchy books. Nice. Now, at first I thought they were like fiction, because, witches are fiction. And I turned, and this one title said, The Truth About Witches. And I said, what truth is there? What the truth, whatever you say is the truth. But for whatever reason, it said pull me off the shelf. So I did. And I took it down, and I read that book cover to cover. I did not leave. They put me out of the library that day. And I went home in tears. And I told my mom's name is Maria. I told my mom, like, Maria, I know who I am. Because literally everything the book was saying, it was me. It was how I felt. It was what I was already doing. And I'm getting ready to cry. So the weird thing about it, those books were not there before. It was like, okay, now we want to talk to you, Aphrodite.
Yeah.
They were not there. I kid you not. That wall books behind me, I sat there every day for years. They were not there before. And so for rows and rows and rows of them, oh my goodness. So I kept going back and getting new stuff and listening to who was saying what and paying attention to what was common among everybody, because everybody has their nuances, especially solitaries. They have their nuances. But what was common between the majority of them? And I was like, oh my goodness, this is so me.
Yeah.
This is so me. Now, of course, my mom wasn't too happy about it.
Oh.
But my mom is my mom. She was the kind of person like, you got to do you.
Even if it means you're going to have horns and ride a broom.
Oh no, she didn't think that.
Okay.
That's too Christian.
Yeah,
like
that is Christian,
right?
Yeah. Look at Jewish people that way.
Yeah, people think, if you're a witch, you worship the devil. I'm like, the devil is a Christian deity.
Yeah,
nothing to do.
Nothing.
I mean, now the Christians will say, if you're not a Christian, then you're worshiping the devil. So, and that wouldn't matter what religion you fell into. But Wicca,
I am everything that they hate.
Got victimized.
Yeah.
And victimized, so it's not what people think. And I don't feel like everybody has to come this path, because you do have to go your own path. And I have a Christian friend who is my best friend. I love her like my mom gave birth to her too. Okay, so don't get me wrong on that. I don't think it's wrong how you come to God. And that's definitely, she is a woman of faith. Her faith is strong. But their deities don't have anything to do with me. And their rules don't have anything to do with me. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, if you say that because I'm not a Christian, which I consider myself Christ-like, which is what Christian means, because his word was love one another as I have loved you. That's one of the most beautiful things ever. If everybody actually did that, imagine. And so, yeah, like really think about that. Like, if everybody really followed the teaching, then 90% of the crap that comes out of a lot of their mouths wouldn't even exist.
Exactly.
But that's another story.
So in Buddhism,
we don't have, or I shouldn't say we. I don't have a devil. I don't have a scapegoat in my faith.
Nicely put.
I don't have and I don't. And it doesn't mean that if you do, you're wrong. Just understand that I don't. If I don't believe in saying that, the enemy did this or the enemy made me do it. I take responsibility for the crap I do. Just like I get the claim for the good stuff, I get the blame for the bad. I don't put it outside of me. And I just can't. Like, I don't even get why people think that's a good thing, but do you?
Yeah. In Buddhism, there's something called Kosen Rufu, and Nichiren Buddhism. And the idea is that if everybody in the world was Buddhist, we would have world peace. So in the 70s, their idea was to basically, one of the tenets was to only talk to other Buddhists. So the way around this is to make everybody Buddhist. So, they were knocking on doors, they were handing out flyers in airports, they were doing all that stuff in the 70s. And in the 90s, many Buddhists decided that was not the way to convert people. That was just a terrible idea. So I do have questions regarding this. Like, how can you think of silver linings as a negative thing?
Wait, read that, because I can't read it.
It says, I came in either at a very good time or a very bad time. I've been very much in a fuck silver linings mood since Monday.
Oh yeah, that happens. There are some times when you get full up and you get fed up and you can't see the forest for the trees. It happens. You gotta consciously just you gotta feel what you feel.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta work outside of that. So, and what I mean with that is, if you're sad or you're mad, you're sad or you're mad. Your feelings are true. Your feelings are authentic. But if just because you're mad, then you don't let that pull you into, well, I'm mad, so I'm gonna lay in bed all day.
Or it takes you into a.
And I'm just using that as an example, right? Because sometimes, laying in your bed all day is the thing that cures you. So don't take me verbatim on that. I'm just using that as an example.
Sure.
So if I was mad right now, if I was angry, my grandkids wouldn't have to worry about me yelling at them because I'm angry. So everything they do causes me to yell. That wouldn't be the case. But that wouldn't take away me being mad. So I get what you're saying. Like sometimes silver linings, like, fuck those silver linings. They ain't no silver linings. Goddamn, they all gray. And we just sprinkle dust on them. But you gotta it's up to you. You pull yourself out of that. And if you can't, it is up to you to not let it dictate how you roll.
Yeah.
So, and it's always choice. It's always choice. When people say I didn't have a choice, there's no such thing as not having a choice. Maybe none of your choices are great. Or maybe some of your choices are just a little bit better than the other one. We'll pick the one that's a little bit better than the other one until you can do better. Don't be that person who's defeated by you. Because the world's going to beat you down enough. The world's going to tell you you're wrong enough. So don't do that to yourself. Do not do that. Like, do not do yourself that disservice. Excuse me, I'm trying to talk and listen to the kids at the same time. Don't do that.
Yeah.
And those 6 Mondays when silver linings don't suck. I mean, when they suck like 100%, that's okay. That's okay too. Just don't let it envelop you.
Yeah.
Because that's when you end up in a dark place, and the darker you go, the harder it is to come back out.
And Raven says something pretty clear where I'm guessing it's more like, I don't care about silver linings, just the idea that the clouds exist at all.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Right.
Right. Because you're going to have clouds. There's no getting away. There's no getting around having clouds. There's no getting away having bad days. There's no getting around having sad times. I mean, Eva can tell you, I've talked to Eva a lot, and she knows like some of my deepest sorrows. And we all are going to have them. But again, like someone was saying to me, because just with some knowledge of what's going on with me, someone was like, well, why are you always smiling? Because I choose that. Because I'm not going to wallow in what's not working. There were days when the only good thing I had was a pen and paper. And I am not exaggerating. I've been like super homeless in the winter, sitting on bus stops with notebooks. Okay. And the only thing that was good was the damn notebook. Yeah. And I remember this one night that was so bad because I still had to go to work. I had to figure out how I was going to do stuff. And I was pretending like I was waiting for the bus so that people wouldn't think that I was just didn't have anywhere to go.
Right.
And watching the buses go by and thinking if I could get on the bus, I would be warm, But you can't just sit on the bus and keep going. They'll make you get off. So I'm at the end of like the line waiting for it to be early enough to actually get on the bus and then go to work and then act like I didn't sleep outside on a bus stop all night. And then get to work early enough where I had to be able to wash up and then get dressed and be ready to be, Miss Lee.
Right.
And not that I was being secretive about it. I was private about it. Because if anybody could help me, they would. Mm-hmm. That's how I looked at it. And if they weren't going to, then I can't make them.
Right.
And so my silver lining was I had money to get on the bus. I had a job to go to. And I had a pen and paper. Because everything else was horrendous. I was cold. I was scared. I was hungry. If I harped on those things, well, I would be miserable. Yeah. I was miserable enough through my circumstances. I was not going to internalize it.
Absolutely.
And I'm talking shit, but it takes much to get there. I know, but it's still a decision. It's still a choice. I remember my son was homeless with me for a while when he was in grade school, and it was so cold one night. And my son's a big boy. He was like 7. And I had to hold him up in my arms so his feet couldn't be on the ground because he's like, my kids call me by my first name. It's like, Hope, I'm cold. I'm cold. And it just broke my heart, and there was nothing I could do. Yeah. So I had to, at one point, I had to let him stand on my feet so that his feet wouldn't be cold. And I'm like, we have food to eat when we get to where we're going. We'll be warm when we get to where we're going. You know, my heart was breaking enough in the situation, so I'm not going to sit in that situation mentally.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just telling you, it's you have to choose the silver linings. The silver linings are not going to just shine for you.
Yeah. So
I'm so sorry. I think I just brought everybody down.
no, like that, but you overcame it, right? So
And you won't. You'll sit in your misery the more you sit in your misery.
poor Spence here sounds like she is going through something that I went through in 2011. I'd been using these things as an emotional crutch to help me cope with the bullshit that started when my grandmother got sick in July. Every time I'd get overwhelmed, I'd think about these plans and it'd make life manageable again. Now, all those things that I've been slowly processing and dealing with are running rampant. So, and it's all stuff out of your control.
Right? Yeah, and but if you humans and probably all things that breathe do not realize how powerful they are.
Absolutely.
Really don't. Like, your thoughts are things. And anybody that thinks, oh, that's so new agey and whatever, well, it's not. It has nothing to do with it. Thoughts are things. You will manifest what you think about. You really will. Like, oh, I think about mansions. Like, no. You're not putting energy into mansions. You're putting energies into, my rent has to be paid Friday.
Well, there are those of us who think more immediate. Absolutely.
And
But
your thought processes aren't wrong. How you roll and what works for you works for you. But what I'm saying is, like, your immediate thoughts, you manifest.
Yeah.
You are that friggin' powerful. You're that freaking powerful, and it's that simple. It doesn't mean that everybody starts thinking about and then having millions. That's not how the universe works. There is a yin and yang.
Yeah.
You know, if there's if there's only $100 and you have 99 and somebody has one, you know what I mean? So it's going to always, the universe is always going to work to get the balance. Always. You have no power over the balance. So seek the balance in yourself, and then you will be working with the universe. Oh my God, I sound like my teacher. Like, I've had some good witchy teachers, man.
Oh, I wish I could say the same. Holy crap.
Oh my goodness. Like, people were asking me about, or I'm about to hurt people's feelings on this. People ask me about tarot cards and stuff like that. I have so many decks of tarot cards. Like, 50% of them I bought. The other 50% were given to me. I only divine with the ones that were given to me.
Sure.
The ones that I bought because I fool around with them, but I don't divine with them. I either keep them because I like them, or I give them away to somebody else so they can divine with them.
Sure.
But one of my students, one of my littler ones, in my Wicca 101 kind of student, and she's like, like, I just want to understand, like, the magic of the cards and this and the third. I said, oh, the cards don't have any magic. The cards, they're beautiful painted pieces of cardboard with plastic coating. They have no power whatsoever.
Right.
So they need not be feared or, loved and all this other stuff. None of you are the person who has the power. They are just tools.
Yeah.
If a hammer was sitting on the floor, it does nothing unless you pick it up. It is a tool. They are tools. And you have to have the faith in you and the belief in you that if you ask the universe or God or whatever people call it, if you ask spirit to show you the answer, then you have to have 100% belief that that's what's going to happen. And that's why when you have people who interpret the cards, it's based on the 5 of cups means blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, they all have general definitions. But I'm sorry if you look
Also
at it
context.
and you're getting,
It's also context.
Yeah, and if you're getting this vibe when you get this, is because the universe is answering your question in a way that you can recognize.
Right.
Now, if you go textbook, then you have a spread in front of you. Well, the minute you have a spread in front of you, they all play off each other. So maybe the Five of Cups means that I hate seeing fives. Maybe the Five of Cups means this, but the Five of Cups with the Two of Wands means this.
Right.
And but again, they are tools. They have no power. It is solely you ask this question. How come me and Sako have the bomb hair? Why do we have the bomb hair? We are just twinsies with our hair. And you ask the universe, why is that? You have to trust and believe when you turn the card, you're going to get an answer. You understand.
Mm-hmm.
The card is shit. Literally somebody made it. So you don't have to, oh, wow, these are just so powerful. They are not. They are, like I said, pretty, portraits of whatever people made on some cardboard with plastic coating.
Mm-hmm.
You are the magician. The cards are nothing. They're tools. And so when people get mad, they're like, oh, no, but I said, no, no, no. You can feel however you want. I'm saying how I feel. And I will never give this inanimate object power. It is not a plant. It is not a person. It is not alive. Somebody made it. And it's beautiful and it's wonderful. And it's just like a hammer. It is great. I couldn't do nothing with nails without my hammer.
Right. Exactly. Ginny wants to thank you about sharing your story about being homeless. She was at this point in her life 6 years ago, was homeless and lost. It was hard, but we made it through. Positivity helped a lot.
Yeah. I was homeless at that one I was talking about.
Yeah.
I had been homeless for 18 months straight. So I went from winter to winter. Now, I'd been homeless before, and I'd actually been homeless longer, but I didn't have a kid.
That's harrowing.
And didn't have a kid. And at one point, I couldn't do it because I didn't want to separate from him, and I knew he didn't want to leave me. But my mom could not take us in. She could not. She lived in a senior place.
Mm-hmm.
She could get away with him. So he can go to school, and she would get him to school. And so I knew he could eat. He wouldn't be scared anymore. I had to give up custody of my son to her so he could live there and go to school. Yes. And you want to talk about heartbroken? It damn near killed me.
Yeah.
And so I had to give up custody of him to her. And I still had to go there every day and see him and do homework, tuck him in, and then wander. Find some place where I was going to sleep.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't stay. And I didn't want him to know that. I didn't want him to have the heartbreak of that. And come to find out, this little boy, he killed me. We finally got a place. We got an apartment. We were doing okay as far as homeless went. But we were still struggling whether or not we ate 2 days in a row. And I say that all the time, but we really were. And then I would sit with him. I was like, we're going to fast on Tuesday. And that's how we looked at not having anything to eat. And he was going out and, going back and forth to school. And he was just outside of the zone where the school bus didn't pick him up. Because, the school bus comes around and takes the kids to school. He just missed it by a block. So he had to walk to school every day. Which, he's a kid. He didn't care.
Sure.
And then I get a call from my mom. And she said, this boy is walking around in shoes that have no sole. I was like, what? She said he's walking in the snow, in the cold weather, and these shoes I said, what are you talking about? Because he came over to her apartment and he sat, how boys cross their legs so the flats of the shoe show, and his feet were out. And so I was like, you got to be kidding me. So she said, well, we got to get him some tennis shoes. So I called his godmother because he also had size 17 feet at the time, even though he was a kid. No joke. He was in junior high and he had something. And so she took him to get new shoes. When he came, I was like, Jeremy, why in God's green earth would you walk around like that? And he says to me, because I knew you didn't have any money. So I knew you couldn't get him, and I didn't want you to be worried. And so after I stopped crying, I was like, never do that again.
Yeah.
Never. I said, if you come to me with a need, you were out in the snow with your feet on the ground. Are you kidding me? I said, you let me worry about how I provide for you. I said, if I couldn't get it for you, then I couldn't get it for you. But you don't ever do that again. Ever do that again. And he was so worried. So when people think kids don't pay attention, he never would have opened his mouth. Never. He would have never opened his mouth. And I was crushed. I was crushed. So I was like, oh no, things gonna have to change. And thank God, like his godmother hooked him up with everything he needed that month. But I was like, see, if you would have said something, you wouldn't have been going without this time, because I could have even borrowed it and given it back to her at this point. Of course, that's not what she would do, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, crazy. It was so hard. It was so hard. So I had to give him up so he wouldn't be on the streets with me. It was so hard. I'm sorry. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, because I don't, my headset don't work. So forgive me, everybody, for turning in this into the gloomy hour.
No, it's fine.
The gloomy hour.
But
it is sort of like on manifestation type platform, so to speak. So yeah.
Yeah, I was homeless for 7 years, and I had a lot of friends, right? So I could couch surf, and it didn't feel like I was homeless, really. Mm-hmm. Like, I had all these friends that were basically putting me up for a night here, a night there, and just kind of rotating. Because the work was in Arlington or Falls Church or DC proper, and I needed to be in the area. So that's where I was. But it wasn't until I met my husband and we moved in together that I actually had a place to live. And he moved in with my parents' place because my dad was basically like, I'm moving to Florida. Would you guys like the house? And I was like,
what? That's beautiful.
Like, what am I going to say? No. Granted, I have a lot of baggage involving this house and this neighborhood and all of that jazz. And it's even weirder now that they've gentrified. Mm. So it's like, I don't know, like, my husband has never seen any of the like terrible things, though we do have like some people doing drug deals and stuff in my backyard, which kind of sucks. But
I feel like that too, like this apartment building, which I mean it when I say it's great, but it's like a lot of older people, like older than me, and you know, I'm saying something, and I think every last one of them are like drug dealers or something. It's like, what do you people do? Like, you're rolling around in like wheelchairs or whatever, and it's like y'all passing stuff off. I'm like, what did I move into? It's like the old lady cartel.
The old lady cartel. That's awesome.
Yeah, wake up.
Yeah, so Spence, if you want to talk to me privately about this, I'm always open to discussion. I couldn't make life plans for up until recently, really. Like, I finally made my first 5-year plan in like, you know, a couple of decades. So the idea that I'm making life plans again, because I feel like my life is stable enough to do so, is astounding. And
it feels like a weight off your shoulder, I'm sure too. But it does put another weight on, but it takes other stuff off.
It's waiting for the other foot to drop, right? I'm waiting for the rug to be pulled out from underneath me.
Stop waiting for it. Stop
Oh,
waiting for it. Because it may still happen, but don't look for it and don't give it energy.
yeah, I'm not giving it agency. But
You
it's
okay,
really
Naya?
interesting. My husband, he was an abusive alcoholic, and I had him stop drinking. Otherwise, I was gonna split. And he turned into Prince Charming when he stopped drinking, and
So that was the frog kiss.
and he became Prince Charming, and I was trepidatious because I was expecting. I went from abuse to Prince Charming overnight, and I was like, because of the whole Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde sort of mentality, and I was waiting for the other foot to drop, and it wasn't dropping, and he like pulled me aside and was like, "This is the other foot," and I was like, "Oh shit."
Right?
So that's how I'm looking at this phase of my life. This is the other foot. I did my time. It's time for the wheel of fortune to like swing in my direction.
Right.
Oh,
Sometimes the fire
uh,
burns everything down, but it also burns everything away. And you have foundation now that's rich to build on again.
yeah,
But you wouldn't have been able to do that without the fire.
right, exactly. Oh, my poor dear. Yeah, Spence, I totally understand. My husband was fiance number 4. So every time I made plans in my life, they got pulled out from underneath me. And I was like, well, that plan is garbage. Like, you know, I don't even want to talk about it. It was such a rough time in my life. Given up on 5-year plans. I do a few months and a few days at a time now. I have a hard time thinking 5 years ahead.
I don't plan 5 years ahead, but I do, and this is going to sound like contradictory. I do project, so to speak. Like I'll say, in 5 years, I'm making this up. Okay,
Absolutely.
in 5 years, I want to be married to Orlando Bloom.
Right.
But in 5 months, I want to finish this novel.
Mm-hmm.
The 5-month want gets a plan. The 5-year one is the wish, so to speak, the dream, the goal. So I don't plan to marry Orlando Bloom. I just put it like, oh yeah, me and Orlando getting married in 5 years. Meanwhile, I'm working on the more closer stuff, the more what I got to do tomorrow, what I got to do next week, what I got to do next month. I usually make my my goal sets in quarters. And right now I'm getting ready to move into my earth quarter, which I love my earth quarter. I'm going to move my earth quarter. So I'm moving out of water into earth, but I do 3 months at a time.
Me too.
So I do not do big, long, drawn out. When I say plan, I literally mean plan. I plan it. I make my roadmap. I do my blueprint for I want to be a beekeeper. Now, how do I learn how to do that? And I map it. But
Yeah.
if it's in 5 years, I have 10-year goals. But those 10-year goals are just in my brain, like, oh yeah, you want to do that thing.
Sure.
They are not me working towards it. I only work towards my stuff a quarter at a time. Oh, I can't wait to get into my earth quarter.
It's going to be a good one.
I need it. My earth quarter is always grounding. So I can't wait. Because this water quarter, oh my God, everything about 2020 has been the worst. So, and that's for everybody.
It's been a surprisingly good year for me. I mean, despite almost dying and,
Yeah. Because see, me, I'm always in almost dying mode. So, 2020 has been terrifying for me. Like, I've been blessed so far, but I haven't had any really serious medical issues this year, which is astonishing. But I've also lost friends to coronavirus.
Right.
I've lost family to coronavirus. I've lost family to people not believing that Black Lives Matter. 2 months ago, 16-year-old murdered at a rally holding a damn sign asking for peace and killed. They ain't put it in the news. They killed 5 people that day. One of them was my cousin. That so what? Because she was Black, it didn't matter. And anybody that says that that's not true, you just don't get it, because it really is true. It really is true. She was 16 holding a sign, and she didn't even make the news.
Yeah.
And now the lawyers are fighting it, of course, and fighting the police in here where I live, and they're probably going to win, but that doesn't bring her back. And it's still everybody's smug about it. Like, well, she shouldn't have been there. Why was she there?
Victim blaming.
Oh, I love it. And it's just the greatest. It's the greatest. You know, I've had, my brother was murdered. 3 of my nephews were murdered.
Oh my God.
My one nephew was shot in the face point blank because he didn't matter. And the only people who care are us. You know, we in the family. No one's still. They did Sacco. They did. You ever heard of a show called The Wire? The Wire.
Yeah.
Well, they used to shoot that here in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Okay. When my brother was murdered, he became an episode of The Wire. They literally made a damn episode of my brother's murder on The Wire. And my mom, now we didn't watch the show, but my mom, the lieutenant that was on our case, a great cop, and he was on our case, and he called my mom, and he was like, look, I just want to give you a heads up. You know, we're on the street and they're doing this. Of course, they're changing the name, so we can't sue and all that other good stuff. But yeah, they just made because that's how effed up my brother's murder was. Of Michael, my brother's name was Michael Makael. And yeah, but very Jewish, my mom, okay, Makael. So yeah, and so stuff like that, and people just, and then every time I hear people go, well, oh wow, this is that, and this is the other thing, and I'm not trying to be political or even out the way, but it's about humans. And people say, oh wow, everybody lives matter. Yeah, because Black Lives Matter means no one else's does. Like, no one is saying that. We're just saying that we don't matter to you. Please hear us.
Yeah.
We don't, and again, please just hear us. That's all we're asking. That's all we're asking. I have a very, very tall son. He's 6'7", and I'm terrified every time he leaves out of his house to go to work. And I'm a mother, and I'll never get peace because I have a Black son, and no one understands that. They don't get it. He can tell you 1,000 times how he's been stopped walking to the bus stop. What are you doing, boy? What are you up to? And my son he's like me. I'm a man, not a boy. And I have to tell him, see, don't talk like that, because then you'll get in trouble. Well, it doesn't matter now. You'll get in trouble no matter what, whether you comply or not. So, and it's a heartache. It's such a, it's no peace. No peace. When I had him, I was excited for 2 minutes. And then I was like, oh my God, I have a son. No one should feel like that. No one should feel like that. And people don't get it.
So next month, I'm partaking in a performance, belly dance show that is casting a spell themed. And I'm honoring the dead. I'm basically doing a ritual in the middle of a marketplace to honor those who have died due to this. Like, I have seen way too much footage of peaceful Black people being beaten down.
Yeah. And
don't kill us, don't kill us, don't kill us. And they try to, and the police move in.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and literally, and part of it, and like, because there are good cops, okay? But
There are.
if it's 100 cops and 10 of them are good, we're still lost. We're still lost. That's like any game you take we're still on the losing end. Um, there really are good cops. Like I know a lot of them. I actually was going to be a police officer and did all the tests, climbed all the walls, shot all the guns. I was,
Yeah.
police academy. I was serious. I got booted out, but that's another story.
Mm.
So I love the law and I love law enforcers. And but the bad cops they just trump it. They just trump it, and they have a mentality of automatically you're bad if you're black. That is not everybody. That is not every cop. But it is too many for if it was just one, it would be one too many. But it's way too many. And if you can, like you said, you can watch that footage and see where if someone has their hands up, I'm unarmed, please don't kill me, and get shot anyway.
Yeah.
Again, I don't have any brothers left. Any. Not one. I have so many cousins and so many nephews and that are gone. Period. And we're supposed to be, this is just me. I'm one woman. And we're supposed to just be accepting of the madness. We're not supposed to get mad. We're not supposed to raise our voices because then we're like, oh my God, look at this angry black woman. You know what? Hell yeah, I'm an angry black woman. I'm an angry woman who happens to be black. Yeah, you're right.
And I want to be, because it's not my story to tell, right? But I want to make it so that if there's a way that you guys can actually like stand up and say something, that maybe I can, help facilitate that.
It's looked upon us for standing up and saying something as we're being too extra. It's not that way anymore. Um, or the really hateful people, N-word sit down and but it's no one is looking at it like, oh, wait a minute, what did she just say? 12 people in her lifetime murdered? Really? Wow. How many families across the country can say that? Too many. Too many. And it's like, oh, there are white people and Asian people and Latino people locked up too. Well, of course there are. Every time that someone says something doesn't mean it cancels out the other thing. It was like I was talking to my other friend, a friend that you guys kind of know, so I'm not going to say his name. And we were having a great conversation, and he just starts putting down Republicans. I'm like, we don't put people down. And everybody in the party isn't a horrible person. Just like every Democrat isn't the greatest thing since Oreo cookies. It's all individual. You got to look at the individual situation. This person, okay, Trump, for instance, the Republican. Trump has only been a Republican 3.5, almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years.
He's a Democrat his entire life. And so he ran for president and he knew he couldn't get a Democratic ticket. So he ran for Republicans and he smiled in the face of Republicans and said, I'll go that route because Republicans are stupid enough to vote for me. This is what he told Republicans.
Yep.
Any card-carrying Republican should hate him.
Yep.
Should hate him.
I was in West Virginia a couple weeks ago, and West Virginia is Trump country. So I see this huge sign in someone's yard that says no fracking in the county that I was in. And right next to it was a Trump Pence sign. And I was like, how? Where is the disconnect? Like, how can you possibly support a man who is fracking in your neighborhood? Like,
but even if you do, let's say for whatever reason that you do, because to each his own, what are you missing in his actions? Because I have a friend, a very intelligent friend, very super. This kid is on point. We went to school together. We've grown up since I know him since I was 4 years old. His mom and my mom were like BFFs, whole nine. And he voted for Trump.
How?
And I said to him, like, you got to be kidding me. This is before Trump was the president, blah, blah, blah. And oh no, he believed in everything he said. I said, you know what? You're right. You believe in what he says he's going to do and all that stuff. You go on and do you. Trump becomes president. I didn't fault one person who voted for Trump because you voted for this person because you believed in them and blah, 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 blah. But 3.5, almost 4 years later, he has proven to you that he was not worthy of your vote. He has proven it because you don't know what he was going to do when he got in. No one could predict that. He could have got in and did great things. He's the pilot of the airplane we're on. So we don't want him to do bad. We want him to make it to our destination. We don't want him to crash the plane. So you can't wish that, oh, he's just so weak. He's the worst person in the world. No, you wanted him to do great things. And he proved to us that he was incapable of it. So the fact that he proved it now, anybody who voted for him before should be highly disappointed and never want to see his face again. Never. So yeah, people voted him in. I'm with you. You believed in him. You thought he was going to do this, but he didn't. So now that he showed you he didn't, let's not do this again. He's still voting for him. He's still voting for him again. And I said, well, see, now we've gone past where your belief in him, and now it's not that you believe in him, but you believe in the sideways shit that he does. And you're too cowardly to admit it. Because he showed you, not me, because I didn't vote for him. He showed you that he was a liar and that your trust in him wasn't warranted. And you're going to give him another 4 years? Okay. I will continue the spell on that.
We have internment camps. In 2020.
I still can't believe that.
In 2020. Like, where is my Japanese American?
I still can't believe that. I still can't. Every time I think about children in cages, I'm like, that's not in the United States of America. Like, oh my God, let's turn our energies and focus onto some good stuff right now.
Yes, absolutely. So apparently Spence got her uncle really good on that the other day with that disconnect. Like, yeah, like they were like, yay, the conquering hero. And it's like, what did he conquer? And he's like,
oh my goodness. I feel bad because when he became the president, the day he became the president, I was disappointed because I didn't want him as the president.
Oh, I was scared to shit.
But I wasn't mad. I wasn't unhappy about it. And I didn't hate him.
Oh, I was so
scared.
I
was praying that, okay, now he's the one that won. Now let's, move forward and do what we got to do. And that he's the one who tore that apart. He's the one that broke that down. And so I was like, oh my gosh. And I have another friend who I don't even talk to now because she's out there. He's just the best thing ever. He's going to stop the Mexicans and we're building a wall and the South is going to rise again. I said, wow.
The South is going to rise again. So you're racist and sexist and
I've known her for 30 years and now she's got the Confederate flag and she's all woo, red, white, blue, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wow, I'm older than you, so I'm more red, white, blue. I was actually at the bicentennial. I was graduating from school and the bicentennial. I've been here for a minute. So don't tell me about red, white, blue, sister. I'm fourth generation slave. I ain't trying to hear all this crap you're talking. But again, Trump And this was a good thing. This is a good thing because he did shine light on bigots.
He
Because now
did.
the
That's what
bigots
scared
came
me
out.
so
The
hard.
bigots came out of the closet. So that was cool too. I can tell you with full assurance that this chick loves me. She doesn't think I'm less than her because I have more melanin. But it's me, not black people. It's me, not people of color. And it's because she knows me personally that she looks at me as an exception. Like black people, but not Aphrodite. Because Aphrodite is pretty smart and she's this and she's that. Like,
Oh, she's one of the good ones.
yeah, yeah. I've dealt with that all my life. When I was 21, I was working at a 7-Eleven. My mom worked there. And my mom paid a lot of money for my education, okay? A lot of money. And I remember I was working with this girl. I was 21, she was 16. And she was a little white girl. And she was going to like the public school that was in the area. And my boss gave her a part-time job. And we would do work and I'm training her and stuff like that. And she goes, You're not like the other ones. Stay with me because I was kind of a bitch back then. And so I was like, I know, right? and then she would just say the dumbest stuff. Dumb. And I was thinking, how many black people do you know? She said, you and like this girl at my school. And so I
Oh.
said, so you don't know any other black people? And she said, but she's really cool and you're really cool. I said, see, you know what it is? Those other black people that you don't know are cool too.
Right.
Right? And you just don't know them. You believe what you see on television and what you've heard. Because she thought I was a bloody anomaly. Like we're sitting here, I'm teaching her how to cash out a drawer, and I'm sorry, money is 100 pennies. A dollar is 100 pennies. If you can count to 100, you can work this. That's all you got to work with.
Right.
And she thought I was like the most super genius ever, and she could not believe it. And so then she would always get a drawer and stuff wrong, but sit and preach about how white people were just more intelligent and white people were this and I would go, yeah, I know this. Because I was so rude because I wouldn't be like,
you're just being facetious.
I couldn't help it though, because she was such a nut. Like I felt like it was nothing I could say or do. Like I was wrong, okay? But I felt like it was nothing I could say or do that could just help this girl. She was gone. So she's like, you're like, my mom came into the job and my mom had bought me a present because I like stuffed animals, and she showed up to work to surprise me. And she goes, you people are so amazing. I was like, I know. We just do weird stuff like love each other and shit. And she goes, right? And all I could think about was like, you poor thing. Like I have no words for you. And then she asked me, well, what school do you went to? And I said, I graduated from Seton. And she goes, oh, that's why you're smart. I was like, I can't with her. Oh my goodness. I used to just look at her go, yeah, my parents cared about my education so that I wouldn't be a dummy. And like, no, dummy. You don't having an education it makes you educated, not smart. You have to be smart. You either are or you aren't.
Right.
Education is the only different thing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. She was a piece. Like she's a piece of work. And I'm laughing because I just keep seeing her. And I was counting out like the drawers, like you get the person gets $1.27. She's like, how do you do that? I have to ring it. I was like,
simple math.
The difference in 100 from 27. Okay, I'm not mad with you. I'm just going to show you so that in case the cash register don't work, you can still count.
So,
count. Oh my God, it was. She was. Oh, I don't want to talk about it no more. I mean, and I say that to say this. She was not a racist. She was very prejudiced.
Yes.
And she prejudged, prejudice. Racist, you hate because of
not
somebody being different color.
I mean,
people don't know the difference. Like you could be both racist and prejudice, but some of the races that I've come across knew that the prejudices weren't true. You know what I'm saying? And they still hate it anyway.
Well, sure,
Like I met this kid. He was Latino, and straight up, he didn't even speak much English. Okay, I met him when I was in California. He was from Mexico. He was visiting my other friend who was Mexican. This is such, stay with me. It was so good. And so my son's father, believe it or not, my son's father is black. People don't think he's black. My son's father, who was also black, it was me, my son's father, a whole bunch of Latin kids, and one little white girl. And we're all having a great time that day. We're barbecuing, we're hanging out at the pool, the whole nine, right? And as it got later, his name was Domingo. What's that, like Sunday? Sunday or Monday. His name was the day of the week, so I think it's Domingo. And he kept staring at my son's father, and he had like fear in his eyes. Like all day we hung out, everything was fine. But as it got later, he just started being scared, and I noticed that his friends were laughing at him. So finally, when it got to be like the sun was going down, and this boy is like frozen in the corner, no joke. And so I said, okay, y'all, what's going on? What is wrong with him? Why? And they said, oh, he keeps staring at Coco. My son's father's nickname is Coco. He keeps staring at Coco because he's scared. It's like he's scared. They've been drinking beer all day. What is he scared of? And he said, oh, he's waiting for, listen to this. I hope everybody's sitting down. He's waiting for Coco to sprout a devil's tail. Stay with me. Stay with me. So I'm like, what? Because I didn't understand. And so they're laughing because they were told that black men turn into demons at night.
What the fuck?
Stay with me on this. This is the part that got me. Now the other ones grew up and realized that was hogwash. But this boy, he was like 19 years old. He was a man. He believed it because he didn't know any black men. So he never seen a black man at night. And he was terrified that this is what he was going to see. And so I said, y'all stop teasing him. So of course my son's father gets all mad and wants to leave. I said, no, sit here. Show him that this isn't going to happen to you. This is how you fix this. If you get mad and walk away, he learns nothing.
You're just going to prove him right.
And so we made him stay up all night until the sun came up so he can see that wasn't true. And we changed this boy's whole thought process of 19 years. Now, he didn't hate my son's father. He had that prejudice that he believed, but he didn't hate him because of it. It's almost like you can like think of animals like cats. People love cats, but people still put cats at a lower level, but they still love them. But cats aren't humans, so humans are superior. But I still love my cat. Well, his idea was like, Derek was okay. Coco was okay. He just wasn't superior. You know what I mean? And oh my goodness, so it was no hate there. It was no racism there, but it was massive prejudice. So the cool thing was now that boy didn't have that prejudice anymore.
So Japanese folks consider being prejudiced against someone to be racism.
Because it can be tied to it.
It can also be positive, but it can also be positive, right?
But you can be a racist and not harbor the prejudices. You can just hate black people. You can just hate white people. You can just hate Korean people. But you don't. But to be prejudiced, you hate white people because they have big noses. That's a prejudice. Yeah, I know, right? I've heard that. But that's where honky came from, because honker was supposed to be about big noses, which is, I mean, people are crazy. Name calling is ridiculous. But again, I'm just saying that you can hate somebody without the prejudgment. You can hate somebody and know that your prejudgment is incorrect. But you could also believe something about somebody. You can believe that witches worship the devil and not hate them. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So that's where the difference comes in. You can believe that all Asian people only eat rice and not hate them. You can have your
Or
prejudice.
they're good at
You
math.
can have
Or
your yes. You can believe that all Asian people are good at math. You can have your prejudice
Mhm.
and still not hate. But prejudice still needs to be worked on.
Mhm.
Needs to be worked on because it oftentimes leads to hate. Whenever you don't know and you misunderstand, humans tend to hate. They just do. But yeah, I hate a whole bunch of people, but it ain't none of them. I don't hate none of them because of their color. And people say, "Oh, you shouldn't hate people." Like, oh, I should do whatever I want to do. I'm grown, and that person cannot be in my circle. They cannot use up any of my space. I'm sorry.
Hate is such a strong word. I
Hate
think
is such a strong word that sometimes applies.
I I can name one person that I still hold a grudge against. That I
What's your zodiac sign?
one person, and I was 13 at the time.
What's your zodiac sign?
My zodiac sign is Taurus.
Stubborn.
It takes a lot to piss me
Tend to
off, but
be-
once I'm there, man, I stay there.
Yeah, that's a like Aries can be like that, but Aries usually burn hot,
Hmm.
and then
Well, I got Leo rising, so.
I'm a triple Aries.
Oh my god.
I know, right? And guess what? Like my Chinese astrological sign, I'm a dragon. I was like, I was meant to just be on fire, I guess. But yeah, we talked about all this and it's just weird how oh, what is it? Manifest. I won't go to a anti-war uh march, but I will go to a peace march.
Sure.
Yeah, because you don't want to give the energy to the wrong side.
Yeah.
So put it towards the one that's working the peace, and the universe will balance it out so that the war isn't. If your war side is at 90% and your peace side is at 10, you're gonna have to build your peace well up to get the war side down. That's how you fight the war side, not fighting it, but building your peace.
Yeah. Marco is talking about how, pretty sure in academia, racism is used as an umbrella term for all race-based prejudices, regardless if it's harmful.
Yeah, it is. It is. I was only breaking it down because the true sense of the word, whenever I hear people like, well, I'm not a racist, I'm like, if you hate
There's
because
a difference between being
of
racist
a,
and being a bigot.
if you hate because of a color, I don't care what color you are or the person that you hate, because I know white people who hate white people.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that's not racism. That's what racism is, hate. Like someone told me that, oh, I can't hate because I don't have this power. I'm like, that's a symptom of being a racist, okay? If you're a racist and you hate, that's it, you're a racist. If you're a racist and you hate and you use that hatred to hold somebody back, you're still a racist. But just because you don't hold somebody back or believe that you can't, doesn't, if you still hate, you're a racist. Period. There's a period at the end of that. Don't tell me you're not a racist because you don't have the power to hold somebody back. Therefore, how you feel about this. No, that's not how it works. Hate is hate. Hate is hate. I hate white people because they run the government. Hate is hate. Oh no, I'm not hating. I'm not a racist because I don't run the government, so I can't be a racist. No, that's not how it works. Not how it works. I'm sorry. I really hate to bust your bubble for anybody that's listening, but
Oh, something about marginalized people and all of that jazz. Like,
that's not how it works. I mean, yeah, you may have a point as far as not having the power to do a certain thing, but if you hate, you hate. That's race. That's racism. Period. My sister used to tell me all the time, "I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist because I don't." I'm like, "You hate this person over here because they are white. You are racist. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Let it go." I mean, she's not. She's over that shit now, but my mother didn't raise her. Okay, her mother raised her. She's a half sister. She's a great person. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it took a minute. Yeah, wow, it took a minute for her to stop with that mess.
So Marco says it's hard to talk about racism since most people equate it with bad person, so they reject when even a small prejudice is pointed out. And I absolutely agree. They don't want to look at the dark side of themselves. They don't want to look at their shadow and overcome a prejudice that they have over someone.
And that's the thing, because the most of it is really dealt inside of ignorance. Like you don't know, you don't understand, therefore you build a prejudice. Your prejudice turns to a hatred,
Yep.
and it, I don't know. It's one of those things. Like again, the poor Domingo, he really believed it. He believed it. Now, we could have just kept, well, not we, because I didn't tease him. They could have kept on teasing him, and Coco could have just walked away. He would have walked away with Domingo would have been prejudiced still.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He sat all day, enjoyed himself, and the minute it got dark, he got scared. He legitimately got scared. I've never seen nothing like that in my life. Legit, I was like, wow, how could anybody believe that? Like, I personally, me, because I'm kind of an asshole. I was like, if I had magical powers like that, I wouldn't wait till night.
Yeah.
You'd be seeing all of me all the damn time. But it would be nice if it would. I don't know, like if people had better understanding, then they would work differently. Because you have to get to the point of understanding. If you don't understand, how can you move? You can't move if you don't get it. If I'm telling you that the word delay means held up, and you don't understand what I'm saying to you, you can't use the word delay. It's, simple as that. So, do you have back on topic, like a book of shadows, or?
I have a book of shadows, a grimoire, and a book of mirrors. I'm very big on recording my findings.
And how do you, if you don't mind me asking, how do you operate with your book of mirrors?
My book of mirrors is basically my experiences with chaos magic.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm starting a hedge writing journal specifically for hedge writing. I don't know if I'm going to make it completely digital or if I'm going to, I bought a paper version that I might use. I don't know. I'm not sure how I'm going to treat that. Because I am very fancy with my grimoires and my book of mirrors I'm not fancy with. But my grimoire and my book of shadows are done with fancy inks and different fonts and all of that stuff.
So are you solitary, or do you have a coven?
I am solitary, but I'm in a group with other solitary witches.
Yeah.
So
I used to be in a group of solitaries too.
Yeah.
But this was back in my 20s.
I gotcha. Yeah, we're chaos witches. So we're not a coven per se, but
right, I know the difference.
I think if I called them coven mates, they wouldn't correct me. Raven says, in my experience, bigots, or more specifically those who actively harbor racist attitudes, will find any reach of their personal power to attack the focus of their misguided attitude.
I agree, Raven.
It's often rationalized as doing their part, no matter how small.
Raven, I think you hit the nail on the head.
A loose confederation of chaos. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, biggest work overtime. I don't have any shadow work written down, and I'm just like I might be a little super old school, which I don't necessarily agree with, but it's just how I've always operated.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of stuff that don't get to go to paper because I
Okay.
don't want them to fall into people's hands.
Oh.
But I do have a book of shadows. And what I do with it is, like, if you come across it and it says on it, unless you were given permission to read it, don't read it, or,
Mhm.
you bring on what you bring on.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
hold on for a second. Naya, Trey, wake her up. Trey, wake Naya up. This girl determined not to do schoolwork.
Oh.
No, wake her up. Sit up, Naya. Sit up in the chair. No, you're not.
She did it to me. So
Yeah, just because she did it to you doesn't make it right. You doing it to her isn't fixing what she did wrong to you. I will correct her. You better not throw water on her. Naya, wake up. Sit up all the way. We'll go for a walk when you get done because you too sleepy. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No worries. The never-ending job of being a mom.
Right?
Absolutely.
I hate that answer. Like, you slapped her because she slapped you. I'm like, she was wrong.
She
So
was.
you
Don't
let me correct her. You slapped her, then both of y'all in trouble.
Don't Steve.
Let her get in trouble alone. They learning. They're not used to being around me.
I'm hungry.
You always hungry, little tapeworm self. Go sit down. You're like 4 pounds. 4 pounds. Walking around. Okay, 10. My bad.
Yeah. Okay, 10.
So that's kind of it. Like, and since I've been here, like, I haven't put my altar together, which really makes you feel creepy because I don't have my altar up.
Oh, the mini Spence is okay. So, Spence is in the same boat where she has to be teacher to her mini Spence. And pray for me, please. We're doing language arts, and I don't have the patience for this.
Oh, we're doing language arts today too. I love language arts.
I will keep you in my heart.
I'll send you some mojo.
Yep. Bye, Spence. Also, love Little Tapeworm. It's popular in the chat. Doesn't matter who started the circle; it matters who breaks it.
I like that. I might have to use that line in my book.
Ooh, yeah. So, what you working on? What you writing?
Oh, I'm gonna send you a picture to cover, okay? But you can't share it when we get off.
Okay.
You can't share it because there's
Okay.
no way. I want to do a really big cover reveal. Oh my god! So I'm writing this story. It's called Dark Amethyst. Oh, let me preface it with this: anybody who read Shattered, or maybe even Encounters, please do not use those 2 books as a base.
Oh, is it standalone?
It's not so much that, like, I primarily write paranormal fantasy stuff. Those 2 books are not. And so people think that those are like, those are my genres. Those are the anomalies. Most of my stuff is paranormal, fantasy. They're always sexy, but it's paranormal fantasy. Shattered, the whole trilogy, the Glass Quarter trilogy, is it's like coming of age, new adult, dark drama. No fantasy, none of that kind of stuff. Yeah. So my stuff that's coming out is my normal stuff. So yeah, it's called Dark Amethyst, and it's about a girl, Siobhan, Love her name. And it's the true, like the Irish spelling, so it's Siobhan.
Right.
Siobhan. And she is a jinn, and she's part human and part jinn. Now, I'm gonna just spoil this for you because she finds out later on in the book that it is impossible to be part human and part jinn.
No.
That was a lie she had been told because they don't want her to know what her other part is.
Mm-hmm.
So she's part jinn and part something else. And something else I am not going to spoil.
Ooh.
So basically, she's in this place called Eden's Hollow, and it's magically hidden from humans. The only people that live there are other supernaturals or paranormals kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The only human that is there is a ghost named Sabrina, and that's because she died there, and she got trapped when the magical force field went up. So her spirit was trapped there. So technically, she's the only human, but even she's a ghost. So I am really terrible of explaining stuff, but I cannot wait to share this story.
I am so excited.
So what I'll do, I'm gonna send you the rough draft for the first chapter.
Oh, cool.
And I'll send you the cover, but you absolutely have to keep it a secret.
Oh, yeah, it's safe with me.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. So I'm so excited about that. And I finally get to go in and do my magic. I get to do some spell stuff. I have been dying to put that in a book.
Awesome.
Well, I'm saying in a book. It's in like all of my books except for the 2 that came out, which is just ironic.
Which is hilarious. Yeah.
I know, right? Because I thought about that. I was like, you know what? People are going to think this is the kind of stuff I write. This was this kind of stuff I had to get off my chest so I can finish writing the other stuff.
Yeah. I know what you mean. So Ginny's going to head out because she needs more coffee before Marissa's stream. Thanks. It's been really fun and interesting.
And I promise next time that I'm a guest, I will not talk as much.
No. Well, I love that you talk all the things.
And stay on topic a little more.
Ginny reminding me I haven't gotten out of my bed long enough to make coffee.
I gotta make some more tea, or else I'm gonna sound like a dude for the rest of the day.
Yep. I think I'm gonna wrap this stream up.
Well, I have to ask you one more question. So, what's your take on the book?
As a whole, or like what we were just reading?
As a whole.
So far so good.
I love reading people's journeys. Even if I don't gel with them, I love reading people's journeys.
She did a chapter on like what does modern and traditional actually mean. She did a section on the keys to a witch's path.
Is it preachy kind of like I watch the science shows and the discovery shows, and they irk my soul when they say, "This is what this is," instead of saying, "This is what this is according to me."
This is what this is according to me. Like she writes this in first person, so she makes it clear. Like you've probably read countless books on witchcraft. This is just my paradigm.
Gotcha.
And her paradigm is very chaos witchy.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, this was kind of the chosen book in our Chaos Witch group. We have like a sort of witchy book club.
Okay, that's too cute. I love it.
Which is why I started reading this on stream. Ooh. Sorry, I got distracted. What is this for? It says like putting together a spell. The ritual arts, putting together a ritual. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm just kind of like skimming through it, and I'm like, this is cool stuff. Like it's borderline chaos magic, and it's got little hints of like ancestor work and working with deities. And The witch has an oracle. Creating a sacred space. You know, it gives like a starting point for those who have read a whole bunch of books and nothing has really gelled with them yet. And also, you were great, Aphrodite.
I know I talk too much. You don't have to be nice. I'm working on me. The gods are not done with me.
I also need another cup of coffee before Marissa's stream starts.
Marissa, who? Mohi?
Marissa Mohi.
Oh, shoot. I didn't know she was doing one today.
Yep, she's doing one at 11 Eastern, top of the hour.
Hello.
So I'm
She
gonna...
can't see you. Hold on. Let me turn the camera on. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Let me figure out. Oh, no. You want to run now?
Oh, look at that handsome boy. Oh.
Y'all can't see me without me doing my hair. I ain't got none of my wigs out, nothing.
Right.
Oh, you ran. You're a little punk. Listen now. They are so sweet. But thank you for having me. Thank you for indulging my big old mouth, my weird opinions, and my coming out of the broom closet story. I haven't told many people that.
I love hearing all the stories. Kath, it's wonderful. All right.
She can't see you.
I'll see you guys tomorrow, and I'll catch you on the flip side.
Yeah, I'm going over Marissa's too. I need to get some tea. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tolerating me.